ready.
So, how many of you have had a Starbucks drink this week? That's what I thought. So, I love Starbucks too, and my favorite drink used to be a white chocolate mocha, and I would get it all the time when I was studying in high school and like preparing for big tests and stuff, sort of like what we're doing right now. And this was my favorite thing to do until I went to the doctor and I got my blood drawn, and they told me I had high cholesterol. And this is a trait that runs in my family, but instead of giving me medication to deal with it, they sent me to a nutritionist. So I went there for multiple months and talked with a lady who pretty much told me about healthy eating. And one thing in particular that really struck me was the amount of sugar that we'd have in our drinks. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about Starbucks drinks. And one experience that really impacted me is when I went in with my nutritionist. She held up a bag like this with sugar in it, and she told me that this is how much sugar is in a venti white chocolate mocha. And I was pretty shocked by that, and it really struck me. So today, talking about Starbucks, and this is really important for all of us because there are 3 different locations around campus, and as we can see from the show of hands, we all kind of go there a lot. Okay, so I'm going to go through the problems with high sugar beverages, the effects of having this excess sugar in our diet, some attempts that have already been tried to solve the problem, and then possible solutions for the future. And just as a clarification, added sugar isn't something that naturally occurs in like fruits or different foods like that. It's like the sugar in Sour Patch Kids or Snickers bar. Okay, so first the problem. According to the American Heart Association, published in USA Today in 2010, women are only supposed to have 25 grams of sugar a day, and men are supposed to have 38 grams. So as you can see already, this number is a lot smaller than the amount of sugar in just one Starbucks drink. So for comparison, this is 25 grams of sugar, and this is the 67 grams of sugar that are in a venti white chocolate mocha. So another interesting fact is that the average American consumes 99 grams of sugar on a daily basis, and this was published by Nancy Helmich in an article called Consumers Are Caught in a Sugar Battle in 2010. So essentially that's 4 times the amount that a woman is supposed to have in one day. So for all of you, I went onto the Starbucks online website on their Explore Our Menu section, updated in 2017. And this is a list of the grams of sugar in some of the popular Starbucks drinks. And an important thing to note is that under the purple or blue line, those drinks are the ones that fit within the sugar intake for a woman in one day. And then the drinks under the red line are the drinks that fit within the total sugar intake for a male in one day. And as you can see, although these drinks do fit into that, they take up a lot of that sugar intake, and that's supposed to be for your entire day. So, according to Gary Taubles from the New York Times, in an article published in 2017, the sugar industry is still pushing the idea that a calorie is a calorie. So basically that it's not what you eat, but how much of it you eat. That's the problem. However, there are a lot of studies that prove that this isn't true. So one of the effects of this excess sugar in our diet is that there's been a really large increase in the percentage of people diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. So there's actually been a 655% increase in the last 60 years, and that's published by the Center for Disease Control and Prevention. So with type 2 diabetes, when people have an excess amount of sugar in their bloodstream, that overwhelms the receptors in their pancreas, meaning that they can't produce as much insulin to deal with that sugar in their bloodstream. Another really important thing to know that is with excess sugar, you have a much greater risk of obesity, high blood pressure, and stroke. And that's published by the American Heart Association in USA Today in 2010. So that means that a lot of people will be spending more time in the hospital and paying higher medical bills, so that's a big issue. Also, adults are more satisfied and eat less when they have solid foods. And that's published by the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition in 2012 by a team of researchers. So essentially this means that when people are consuming a lot of sugar in their beverages, they don't necessarily feel more full, and they'll continue to eat more food, and that just adds to the problem. So now that this is coming more to the forefront in our society and people are realizing that it's a big issue because this sugar in our beverages is so easily consumed and a lot of people don't know about it, there have been several attempts to try to lower this effect. So one of them is New York instated a partial ban on sugar-sweetened beverages over 16 ounces in 2012. And this was actually struck down by the state Supreme Court. And that's published by the New England Journal of Medicine by Amy Fairchild in 2013. So what they found was that this tax actually targeted people's own ability to buy the size of drink that they wanted, although it was initially aimed at corporate behavior. That's why it was struck down by the Supreme Court. Another attempt at a solution is Berkeley's soda tax, which was implemented in March 2015. So basically what they did was a penny per fluid ounce tax, where they taxed the distributors rather than the stores or the people buying the actual product. And they did some research to go along with this, and they found that the sales of taxed drinks fell 9.6%, and the sales of non-taxed healthier drinks, such as water, generally rose 15.6%. And overall, beverage sales in Berkeley went up. So what this shows is that essentially, even though the prices of those very sugary drinks rose, it actually encouraged people to make a more healthy decision and maybe get water instead, and it didn't stop people from buying things from the store. So in the future, more solutions for this problem could be implementing a sugar tax in more cities around the country, like Berkeley did. And a research team from healthaffairs.org in 2012 published that if this was implemented nationwide, it could prevent 95,000 coronary heart events, 8,000 strokes, 26,000 premature deaths, and $17 billion in medical costs. And then for yourself, what you can do when you go into Starbucks and order your drink is you can order sugar-free or switch to adding a small amount of an artificial sweetener to your beverage. Although this is still fairly controversial because some people have linked artificial sweeteners to weight gain. Another option could be getting an iced coffee without any sugar and then just add your own later. But the most important thing is that you need to be aware of what you drink and look at the labels and see how much sugar is in it. So an interesting fact is that these nutrition labels, if you look at the sugar, they don't put the percent of your daily value. For instance, this one would be close to 200% of your daily value. It's because they're often very ridiculous, so they don't even have it on there. So while these effects are still becoming more recognized in society, the problem isn't solved. But you can help reduce this by simply reading the labels on your beverage and being aware of what you order at Starbucks. So the next time you go get your drink in the morning at Starbucks, maybe order an iced coffee and add your own sugar rather than getting a white chocolate mocha.
I have a question. Did you